Hey, friend, it's great to be with you here on this Leaders.Church video, and I am privileged today to be with my good buddy Chris Colvin from the great state of Missouri. Chris serves as a sermon consultant and helps pastors in their preparation of sermons and the creation of all that's involved with it. Chris, say hi to our audience today.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Dick.
Yeah, you bet. We want to talk today about the issue that's very real for pastors here in the States and around the world. We walked through the shutdown period, many of us, and now we've either opened or partially opened, and a lot of us are preaching to smaller crowds than we had before, and yet now we've been able to take advantage of the online preaching component of what we can do as pastors. So, Chris, I'd like to have you, if you could, just give us a jump start into some of the aspects of preaching online. I know you've been advising pastors accordingly. What would you say to the pastor watching or listening to this right now?
Yeah, Dick, during that partial lockdown, when a lot of our churches were closing their doors, they were still staying open. Our churches were still open. They were just online. And it's amazing what God did through that online presence. Here, I was just talking to a pastor just yesterday down in Arkansas that mentioned that they've reopened since for about 2 months now. And during that time, they keep having families show up saying, hey, we started attending when you guys went online.
Oh, okay.
So first attenders are now actual in-person attenders. So the power of online preaching is amazing. And this is one of the lessons that I think we've learned during the pandemic that pastors should really keep and get behind, that you can go online with your sermons and make a huge, huge impact.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that. The difference of today versus even just a few short years ago, the ability for people to really do quality online ministry. Talk to us a little bit about that, can you?
Absolutely. Online preaching used to be only the biggest churches, only the most expensive churches could do something like that because it was really expensive.
Yeah.
You had to have cameras, you had to have special microphones and mixers, and you had to have a whole room of technicians with people who have designed a special website just so that you can go online and stream your services each and every single week. And now, if you've got a smartphone with a camera, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can make it happen. It's as simple as that, because all you have to do is set up your phone and you can stream right there through social media. It's amazing.
Well, once a pastor, gets that, and a lot of the viewers are doing this even right now. They've been online. They've been working to make it online. We certainly, Chris and I, would both really encourage you to continually refine what you're doing online to make it better and better every week. Are there any things that you would say to pastors? And we didn't rehearse this ahead of time, so I don't know what you'd. Well, this would be the surprise thing. See what you come up with. Anything that you would say to pastors that they should be continually looking at to make sure the quality of what they do is better all the time?
Great question. Really great question. It's really, I've got a few practical tips that I've given to several pastors, and I've heard from several pastors as well. The first thing that pastors should do if they want to continue being great at this online preaching is to not be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to raise your hand and say, I don't understand this. I don't get this. Because I guarantee you probably know a teenager who knows exactly how to do it. Most of the questions I have about my own smartphone or technology, I go to my 13-year-old daughter who already knows the answer. So she already knows the answer. You probably have people in your church who already have the answer. Don't be afraid to ask for help with that. So that's the first thing, ask for help. The second thing is don't be afraid to invest just a little bit. Like I said, it used to be very, very expensive to have a camera and the microphone and all the setup to be able to do all this stuff. And now it's really simple. You just have your phone and you can go straight from your phone right online through social media. But if you invest just a little bit, like for instance, a nice lighting rig and a really nice microphone, you can invest less than $200 and it really increases the look and sharpness and presentation. Good. I said $200, not $2,000. Right. Really, it's about $150, almost $100. Yeah. You can do that. You'll be amazed once you start pricing stuff out.
That is so good.
The third thing, though, is this. This is what I would tell every single pastor. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Online preaching is very unique. If you are a pastor, you're used to talking to that congregation, that seated congregation, interacting with them, seeing their response and feeding off of that. Now you're talking to them through the lens of a camera. That is a technique that you need to perfect if you're going to go online and preach online. And it really just takes practice.
Yeah.
It really takes just sitting down and trying it out and taking your message and working through it with that camera, recording yourself, watching it back, finding what works, finding what doesn't work.
Yeah, that's so good. You mentioned about asking for help. Chris was so kind to provide a blog for us. It's right here on the blog page here of Leaders.Church. Why should you ask for help with your preaching? It's an outstanding blog. I would encourage you to click on that and just read through that, because you'll find that to be very helpful. You mentioned social media, Chris.
Yeah.
Well, how should a pastor think through, now that they're going through the mechanics and the actual preaching, what should they be doing to leverage social media?
Social media is an amazing thing. You either love it or hate it, probably. But regardless of how you feel about it, social media has made it possible for every single church, every single pastor, every single person to go online and gain an audience. And what Facebook has done, with the help of a few select churches as well, is they have invested billions of dollars of their own money to build a platform that any church can just plug in and go worldwide. And that's the thing. You can go worldwide through social media. You think about it. Think about the Great Commission. We're all about the Great Commission.
Yeah.
There's really 4 aspects of it, the way I think about it. Go into all the world, right? Make disciples, baptize them, and then teach them the things that Jesus has taught you.
Yeah.
3 of those 4 things can all be done online through social media, weekly, even daily.
That's good.
You are literally going wide, all around the world. It's the World Wide Web, because it's right there at your fingertips.
Oh, that's
I was on staff at a church that 10 years ago or more, we kind of shifted and we're doing this online church. And we had a lot of hiccups back then. It wasn't as easy as it is today, but it was still something that we could provide to our people that were seated. If they happened to miss a Sunday, they were home, they could watch online. Well, one of our members was actually traveling. He would travel overseas once a month to another country. And it was a predominantly Muslim country, actually. And he came to me one day and he stopped me and he said, I got to tell you something. He goes, I was at the hotel last Sunday and I wanted to watch the service. So I went down to the hotel bar so I could eat dinner while I was watching the service, and I had my laptop up. Well, the bartender said, what are you watching there? And he told him, and he said, well, let's just put it up here on the big screen TV. So he did. They started watching and streaming this sermon, this church service, in a hotel bar in a predominantly Muslim country right there. Well, a month later, our member goes back to the same exact hotel. He goes down to the hotel bar again, just like he did every Sunday, to watch the sermon. And the bartender stopped him and said, you won't believe this. We've been showing your church's service right here every Sunday. He goes, we've got people coming in just to watch this church service. That was something we didn't plan. It just happened because we said, this is something we can do. We can reach around the world through the power of the gospel.
That is so good. That is so good. Chris, this has been very, very helpful. You've got pastors, church leaders watching this right now. We're going to hitch this up. If there's anything you want the viewer and the listener to remember out of our conversation, what is it?
It's to not be afraid. Just not be afraid. Not be afraid to make a mistake. We're all making mistakes, but not be afraid of social media and the power that it can have. God can use that instrument to spread the gospel. He can use it as a great commission instrument. I 100% believe in that.
Wow, that is so cool. Chris, Colvin, you are a good friend, and you are producing some great stuff for pastors and church leaders. Can't thank you enough. Thank you for watching this particular video today. We hope it's been helpful. Feel free to snoop around the site. Be sure to take advantage of that blog I mentioned earlier. And if there's anything we can do to help you, don't hesitate to give us a call. In the meantime, make it a great one today and be blessed.